So now we will speak about women's trends for winter 23 24. And we will talk about the major influence and trends for this season. So why? So now why emergency? All the indicators points to an urgent call to action impacting all the levels of our societies, all sectors and aspects of our daily lives, and every living being on this planet. The emergency is also reminding us of the global challenge to make this planet a better place to live. And more than ever before, it is now time for a big change. Now, one must open of new pathways of growth and development. Okay, we will talk about consumers. Consumers have, of course, understood this emergency. You have understood this emergency and are demanding that brands, become more eco-responsible and transparent in their communications. So Promostyl have identified four main consumers based on Carl Jung's mapping. To which companies, we suggest that companies follow this mapping and target it. The first one are the agromantics. This consumer is very close to the nature. You know, after the lockdown, we have we need to go to outside and to reconnect with nature. So these city dwellers wish to reconnect with nature, animals, plants, to consume locally also, and to consume less but better. And they are calling for a slowdown also, to live very slow. So to reach this consumer, brands need to use natural materials, of course, create sustainable products, and to produce less but better. The second consumer is linked to the technology. We call it the tech humanist, because now technology is focusing on digital to optimize our daily life through the metaverse and HMI, which offers spaces where customers interact, play, shops, or work as every people here, I think. We are now working at home. And so brands need to invest in human-machine interaction. Third consumer, the market of luxury. We name this consumer the essentialist. Why the essentialist?
Sebastien, sorry. We kind of need your... Faut que t'ailles débrouiller ton ordi. Very sorry. So apparently it's hard for everyone this morning, including the computer, as you can see. And we're back. Soon.
Okay, sorry for that technical problem. So the agreement, the essentialist, so this clientele traditionally advocates materialism, but they are now looking for meaning in their consumption also, and that's a very new thing. It's very new. So brands now need to be more transparent, more ethical, and to multiply collaborations, showcasing products that are more committed and unique. The last one, the youth, the generation uh, Z,
Z.
Z.
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry for my English. Z. Our current counterculture, which have named the disruptive dreamers, are the most creative and militant ones of all the consumers we saw. They are strongly believe in the collective power to change the world into a better society. And to reach this consumer profile, brands need to innovate on transcultural products and integrate minorities into their strategy.
Okay.
Malaika will develop this.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. So yeah, now that we've explored the consumers, we're going to take a look at the themes in our books based on those consumer. So number one, we have climavore, which refers to the agromantic consumer that Sebastien mentioned. So those guys are focusing on the natural world and have to achieve groundbreaking change to all levels of our society, but mainly focusing on nature, obviously. The idea here is to optimize the use of natural resources in order to better consume. Second one, we have the theme exofiction, which is linked to the tech humanist consumer. So this one is quite the same as climavore, but only on a technological point of view, basically. It's all about the human expansion thanks to technology's several advances. It also is about space conquest. There's very much the idea of exploring outer space and maybe find solutions over there. But altogether, it really is about the new and limited possibilities that we get through technology. Number three, we have nobleness, which is linked to the essentialist consumer. So this one is celebrating craftsmanship and traditional and emotional well-being. It is traditional, but it twists the tradition and heritage a bit because we're looking for a more intimate luxury now. It's not about maximalism as it would be before. And finally, we have a new world, which is linked to the disruptive dreamers. So as Sebastien said, this theme is very much about the younger generation, so Gen Z. It is our most disruptive and revolutionary theme because it showcases a youth that is trying to positively transform society into a better one. And it's very much concerned about, all the issues that we're facing, from racism to gender equality to ecology. They're basically trying to start from scratch and not look back. So let's start with climavore. So climavore is about the relation to Mother Nature and about finding solution thanks to a collective power. In that sense, you have to know that climavore isn't a random title that we chose. It's actually the name of an organization whose project is to regenerate and adapt food production chains and find new ways of consuming food. So the name literally comes from a collective, and it is based on a collective idea. So, as you all know, I'm sure, ecological awareness and trying to, save our planet best as we can is in the center of all discussions, whether it's fashion or anything else. But in our specific situation, as we're faced with the climate emergency, and the living words wake-up call that we've had, it's really important that we spread sustainability to try and bring Second Life to ready to wear, basically. So in that sense, we have the projects that are adapting to this new way of consuming and this new way of thinking. So you have here all our inspirations based on all the issues that we've mentioned. So for the color range, it's obviously very, very natural. As you can see, you have all three shades of green. So we go from khaki green in the middle to leaf green to chlorophyll. But we're not just promoting nature. There's also the idea of a climate emergency. So in that sense, we're going to use brighter colors like this huge bright red that really gives us a sense of emergency, and the bright blue as well.
So in order to clarify, each theme is linked to a consumer and is subdivided by three concepts. Okay, so first concept, wild mimicry. In this concept, man no longer now consider himself superior to animals or to nature, which are even given rights. We are even here inspired by them, by the animals, by their ability, this is a very important point, by their ability to extreme situation. We study them. And so, as I just told you, and so fashion is inspired and imitates adaptability of animals, like the use of faux fur, all sorts of camouflage, technical patchworks, and all over camo to blend with nature, to blend with the environment. The wardrobe is protective and practical. You can see it on the women's silhouettes, for example, with the roundup padded here, puffy scarf, ultra protective jacket, and the massive of used green color from khaki to profile. Yes, all people now need to be protected, and we need some practical wardrobes. So this practical city-wear and casual business. So think, in conclusion, think practical city-wear and casual business, but twisted with eco-conscious, smart solutions, and make it a fashion. About accessories, the accessories are no exception of the rules, showcasing both practical and protective features made of natural materials which are made to last. The natural tones are here again playing as a camouflage, inspired also by animals and plants. Patterns now, a graphic take of natural patchwork, and an update twist to nature-inspired camouflage also. Your turn.
Now for our second concept called local shakers. So in this one, we think very local and very folklore. There's something about the local techniques and know-how that we really want to use. It's really all the rage because we want to try and celebrate authenticity and craftsmanship when it comes to that concept. So in that sense, the way we built the silhouette for the season, we were thinking you're dressed for the countryside, but you're living in the city. You have all those very environmental thoughts, but you also still have to go to work and go into the office. So in that sense, we have silhouettes that have a rustic style, but we play with layering quite a lot. We celebrate artisanal fabrics, so we've got natural jacquards, a lot of cotton and everything. And there's also a bit of an ethnic folklore influence if you look closely. You have embroidery, you have patchwork, you have knits. They really build the entire look. And we also put a lot of handmade details in most of the garments. So for the accessories, we stay in that city farmer kind of vibe. We find jacquard again. It's a fabric that is very much present in that concept. So you have met scarves. You find handmade details on the shoes as well. They look very traditional, very crafty. We have knits on the bags, on the shoes, on maxi braided patchwork scarves and hats. There's this huge notion of protection and feeling completely safe that comes with this concept as well. And for the prints, we go into flannel patchworks and like folksy designs. So you can see that you definitely have true natural inspiration, with flowers worked in different shapes and in different styles. You have elements of of the forest, but presented in a more vintage way. There's also a bit of how could I say that? It's almost a tacky city farmer kind of vibe, especially for the top one for women, because it's very loud and it's very bright, but you still have a bit of a rustic feel to it, basically.
Okay, concept 3, weather forecast. This concept is coming in reaction to various climate change, showcasing cuddle-thick puffer wadding with high-tech gears to survive out there in the cold. Concerning silhouette, the wardrobe is designed to live and survive in nature, of course. This is the subjects here. Garments are designed for climate change and extreme winter conditions thanks to highly technical features, protective and comforting volumes inspired by mountain equipment but made to be worn on the city, camouflage pattern to mimic the natural decor. The accessories look like a protective kit, highlighting faux fur again, camouflage fabrics again, but on some other camouflage, of course, with another inspiration, and cocoon protection, inspired by mountain exploration. They are also ultra functional, like backpacks and boots. All are crafts stand up to low temperatures. About patterns, camouflage again and again here for women, and some other inspiration, of course, rework and restyled in more natural tones here, with abstract motifs, stony and rocky camouflage, and mountain escape here.
So now we're going to theme number 2, exofiction. So remember, the more technological one. So we live in a world that is filled with a lot of uncertainty, so we now have to kind of rely on technology to find solutions for a different world and optimize the performances that come with technological advances. So now more than ever, humankind is facing the truth in regards to everything that we've done, basically, that has got us to the climatic situation that we're now. And in that sense, we came up with a mood where we imagined that robotics, digitalization, and hyper performance are teaming up with the techno cocoon. And in that way, we kind of create a new age comforting bubble. And we also put in a 60s retrofuturistic vibe to it. So you're going to see it as we go along. So you can already see it now, a little bit. So we have, like there's robotics and that are very like rounded and very comfortable shapes, but also very advanced in style. So for the color range, the key colors of the theme are inspired by the context of Cocoon, as I've mentioned earlier. You have the gray that is, and and the metallics that are obviously part of the range. It just makes sense if you're gonna do a technological theme. But we also put in that kind of martial orange for the outer space conquest mention. And then you have the futuristic and digital approach with the purple and the green that are kind of reminiscent of like iridescence. You have like the energies and like the kind of like hyperspace kind of vibe, but way softer, obviously, since it's still women's wear, so we're trying to make it soft. Okay, so Space Lab, sorry, the concept number one. So Space Lab is exploring space conquest, and it's taking us into a journey into the unknown. So there's this fascination of moving to Mars that is going on, and it's inspired by travel and mobility, interior design, and architecture, and all in futuristic tones. So if you take a look at the silhouettes, you're gonna see that much like the previous theme, we go for protection, but it's more in the sense of armor. It's not to blend in the way it was in the natural theme. It's much more about completely adapting more than anything else. So you have armor like shields and multiple metallic touches that are on all the silhouettes. And there's a comfortable retrofuturistic streetwear wardrobe that you can see with very sporty details on everything. Moving on to the accessories, it's a mix of technology and sophisticated shapes into a hybrid streetwear, in a way. So you have transparent technical fabrics, as we can see here at Bottega Veneta. You have rubber, you have metallics. There's really like this idea of working on a kind of shiny astronaut-like accessory. And for the patterns, again, we have a very, very obvious futuristic and outer space inspiration going on. You can see elements that completely refer to traveling in outer space, space stations, rockets, and everything like that. And yes, we also took geometrical reshaping a little bit also to have kind of like minimalistic feels on the garments as well.
Concept two. So in that concept regarding style, the wardrobe is formal and urban, thanks to plenty of technical innovations. And so formal codes and urban style are in full renaissance. For example, some antimicrobial microcapsules are hidden in the fabrics. In addition, a retro-futuristic influence contributes to make the formal wardrobes more relaxed. That's why the smart wardrobes come more urban, more sportswear, more casual. So concerning here these silhouettes, always on the go, city dwellers are layered, highly structured with boxy volumes, and ergonomic shapes, straight and compacted. The colors are monochrome, and prints are inspired, of course, by the virtual. Here inspirations come from movies like Star Trek or Matrix, of course. Everyday connectivity and high-tech performance. About accessories, concerning accessories, here 60s pop and science fiction inspired all of that. with a comeback of courage, for example, with the use of fabrics like nylons, plastic, and rubber. The use of extra storage, like zip pockets, we can see here with Prada. Chunky soles and sturdy leather are also a hit here in this concept. Every accessories are playing with metallic reflections and ultra structured sturdiness. Patterns. The highlight put on 60s retro tech aesthetic is still going on print and patterns with geometrical micro motif, electro wave shapes, and tech glitches. The futuristic approach to graphics, as you can see here, is playing with an hybrid and digital inspiration, yet sleek and sturdily with a highly technology feel.
Okay, so moving on to concept number 3, called experimental living. So the world in constant change and innovative technologies in materials, in fabrics, and in designs are was influencing the concept here. This one has a very, very creative approach to technology because we're mixing a formal and casual with a genderless yet very sensual look at the end. So the digital influence is found in the wardrobe. We have functional minimalism, and we have unexpected surfaces as well, with icy effects and kind of shiny plastics. It's a very new age aesthetic. It has very compact volumes and out of this world play, with the colors and the graphics. And we find again that 60s retrofuturistic and digital parallel that I was telling you about earlier. Sorry. Oh yeah, and final detail that I thought was very interesting is also the notion of like cutout sensuality that you can see on most of the silhouettes. In the accessories, we go full tech 60s here. If you look at the shapes, the colors, the details, it's quite extravagant as well because we're in a creative approach. So you have cat eye framed glasses, you have the glitter hairbands, you have like very smooth leathers and metallic effects on bags and shoes. And we have the puffer effect that is a favorite this season in the accessories. And finally, for the patterns, we are playing with the psychedelic imagery elements. So we mix various pop shapes and pop colors together, and then we get this very, very, very graphic scenery. Still with the outer space inspiration, like the bottom print that kind of looks like a vortex when you look at it. And there is this digital approach to prints and patterns that are celebrating ultra creativity.
Okay, nobleness, our third themes linked to luxury. So, this theme is born from the merging of traditions to heritage with an extra breath of fresh air. Luxury is now in need of an unexpected twist of sensuality with a reassuring comfort via know-how and fine craftsmanship, noble and sophisticated materials, but with a certain furious audacity. That's a new thing. So serenity is a new luxury. So especially in this epidemic post-COVID context, which forced which force us back into our family protective cocoon, making all generations mix together and redefining the most deep-rooted traditions. The result is a mix of a rich variety of styles and eras of luxury, celebrating deep respected major luxury houses and savoir-faire, but also an unexpected twist of street art and various cultural influences. The result is a boldness in color association and a radical looks, but also a new whole lifestyle experience, whether soft and sober or highly exuberant. The color range takes traditions and preppy as reference and plays with the aesthetic of the classic, but revisited here by a much more modern approach. Multiple classic references are mixed with the new cultural influences because the new luxury needs to be the one of an aesthete. Yes, this is linked to the luxury. So the range here is showcasing soothing and refined colors such as a soft blue. I don't know if you can read here, just there. A smooth pink and a milky beige. As a way to express extreme sensuality and well-being, but also a bright iconic orange, a preppy dark green, and a deep brown, reminiscent of the traditional equestrian. I know it's very difficult for a French to pronounce some word in English. I'm sorry for that. Equestrian aesthetic. So this eclectic color range draws a state of mind of this new multi-cultural luxury where traditions are sometimes upside down or twisted by this young generation. Our first concept, Arctic Campus. So, because of this TV success around the family, such as Such Crown, many youngsters are now saying that family is the supreme value. This is about this concept. Okay. The family is now no longer a generational war, but rather a collective place. A British approach to family festivities where people share polarities and common history. British, not because we are in England. This is a trend, okay? An international trend. About silhouettes. So as you can see here on the silhouettes, the UK, this famous UK aesthetic is mixed with a dash of 80s yuppies and a 90s streetwear casual feel. The looks are twisted VA, fun prints, and eccentric associations. The style is a sort of preppy upgrade and mix and match of vintage references. We are blending, conventional jacquards, diamond shapes, stripes and ribs with badges and UK checks. All of that in a contemporary streetwear spirit. So we will mix tradition and the street. Vintage the accessories, yeah. Vintage collectors are celebrated with the accessories, revisiting 80s preppy style with old school 90s hip hop, a spotlight on pleated soles, check patterns, and all over beige placements. Concerning patterns, hype classic are revisited also with a modern approach, showcasing maxi diamond shapes, badges, and preppy checks, playing with the street vintage usage of colors. Women are going a little further with mixing street art with classic tradition references like crests and horse aesthetic elements.
Okay, so moving on to concept number two. Oh, this is an interesting one actually for the luxury sector. Um, so in reaction to COVID and spending so much time in our houses, we have noticed a huge switch in our wardrobes in a way that we suddenly feel the need, even though we're back to the real world, we feel the need to be way more comfortable in the real world, even in the office. And in that sense, there has been an incredible rise of like sporty looks and very, homeware designs, but worn outside of the house, basically. Um, so it's inspired by spas. We even decorate our houses differently now with finding beautiful materials. And so in that concept, we are welcoming intimate and loungewear in our everyday lives. So you take a look at the silhouettes. The question here was, how exactly do you bring such a very relaxed look on the street and keep it, very luxurious and very kind of elitist in a way? What we did is that we mixed comfort with softness, with timeless look. So it's subtle, very cozy, it's very chic, it's pure, and it uses very noble materials, basically. So the volumes are very round, it's toasty, it's warm, and you have very soothing and very relaxing colors. If you look at the palette, it's very neutral and very relaxing. Um, since we're spending more and more time at home, working from home, the comfort was the main criteria when we created the silhouettes and the products here. So in accessories, same idea. We are very elegant, but we're also very, very cozy. It's Coziness is definitely the word that you want to remember when it comes to that concept. You need to be super cozy, super relaxed. The accessories are very minimalistic. They're built to last, and they're also built to be used inside and outside of the house. So you've got soft leathers that are worked into like smooth curves. You've got the knots as well. Um, and you also have well thought out office staples. So there's kind of an office look, but very, very clean and very, very neat. And for the patterns, we have organic shapes and we have curves with a smooth choice of colors, again. Um, Same for the colors, very minimalistic. It's not too bright, not too loud. And we take inspirations from designs of old tapestries as well.
Concept 3, luxury prestige. Here history and architecture sets the scene here. And beautiful so. The aesthete, the aesthete wants to live big and get back out in the world in a bursting and colorful extravagance. Concerning silhouettes, authenticity and luxurious codes from traditional influences are promoted, but with joyful eccentricity, exuberance, and a 70s vibes design. The silhouettes are playing tributes to the dandy codes, to the good taste, and the major oldies classics, matching with 70s volumes, Victorian blouses and UK check, or even darked vintage floral prints. About accessories, the accessories come straight out of the family houses and traditional fabrication of the big luxury houses archives, like 70s buckles, belts, jewel color leather boots, and iconic bags are all the rage for women. About print now, vintage bouquets, UK checks, old motifs, old patterns are retracing traditional family home elements, redrawn by hand for a modern twist. That's a new thing, like hunting dogs,
Yeah.
just
Okay.
there, hunting dogs, and riding features, and also a 70s approach here again on the prints and patterns.
So for our fourth and final theme, a new world and a personal favorite. Um, so as we've mentioned, this one is very much about the young generation, this very conscious and this very full of fire and fight generation. Um, so yes, like I said, they're very conscious. They fight against racism, about misogyny. They're very concerned about the environment, the identity. But in the way we went about our theme, we find two new perspectives. So there's a revolutionary mindset that takes us back to the 90s kind of cyber techno Berlin wave. And you have a militant and feminist revolt with a delicately kind of punk aesthetic. Um, it's a community that wants to do with what they already have as well, since they have this very, ethical way of thinking. There's also an idea to repurpose, to recycle and upcycle that we're going to see coming in play in that theme as well. So for the color range, we have a funky and revolutionary take that is driving the entire range. So you start with a dark grunge vinyl black, and then you go to more powerful and kind of more rebellious type of colors with the very deep purples, the metallic purples, and then obviously we needed to have some lights in here, so we chose some gold as well, and green, so all colors that really inspire power and collectivity. So first concept, we have Creative Factory. Hello. Okay, thank you. Cool. So sorry.
We are at the train station. We are waiting for the
So yeah,
for the train.
concept number one. We have this idea that the generations Y and Z are very much about collaborations and working together. And in that sense, there's a hope to inspire a vision that will save our endangered planet. So the Creative Factory lifestyle is for people looking to look outside of the box and completely do something very team-spirited and creative by bringing funky, new, artsy places and experiments. So in our silhouettes, we have a sort of like new age workwear situation going on that is very creative, where we basically blend workwear, jeanswear, and streetwear, and create a new utility that is based on eco-responsibility. So there's a lot of repurposing of second-hand, of upcycling. The wardrobe is actually mainly made of patchwork and recycled fabrics, with very customized graphic slogan and like a lot of protest messages. And the palette is inspired by oxidized metals, so it's very, very, very urban. We have a complete architectural and urban inspiration when it comes to prints. For the accessories, again, we have workwear inspiration that comes in. And same, we have upcycled shoulder bags. You have those, those heavy worker boots that we've used as well. And denim is a huge, huge star here in accessories. You see it with Balenciaga, you see it on the bag as well. Like, we find a lot of denim in accessories for the season. As for the patterns, so again, you kind of have like this industrial worker idea, but we worked to make it look a bit younger, obviously. And it also kind of approached the like techno vibe art. And it showcases a very brutalist feel on the graphics and the graffiti messages as well.
Okay, last
Second story.
sorry, second concept, Love on the Beat. I don't know if you know Serge Gainsbourg or this Parisian 60s pop singer, this Parisian 60s Parisian singer. Okay, so you can Google it, and you will understand why we choose this title. So nostalgic of their pre-COVID high lives, the Nightbirds are out after a couple of years of lockdown. The wardrobe is strange now, elegant and classy. Gen Z is nostalgic for the 70s good time freedom, and so rock and Dadaism are back. The silhouettes are showcasing 60s and 70s gender fluidity and chic nonchalance. The influences come from the rock bands with thrift shops, vintage store, and streetwear of that time. So this is a mix of dandaism and streetwear. And so twisted with a modernized approach. The looks are a medley of Western style, bell-bottom or slims, jabot colors, and psychedelic prints. The fabrics are refined and party-like, such as shimmering leather, glossy satins or glittering satins. The cuts are impeccable, but twisted with bold color bursts, all coming together to bring out a romantic, sexy vibe. Music and, of course, music and nightlife are influencing the accessories, showcasing guitar motifs on bags that are made out of leather and velvet, but also loafers and evening earrings. A party take on the accessories, playing with glittering and shimmering effects on shoes, hats, and bags. Concerning patterns, a 70s psychedelic rock aesthetic in full bloom, coming in all over patterns and displays new age heavy patterns, somewhere between romantic and sexy. Okay, our presentation is coming to an end. Thank
Actually,
you for
no,
your
because
attention.
there's one more story.
Oh, I'm
We're
lost. I'm
almost done, I
tired.
swear, then
Sorry,
we'll let
I
you
missed
go.
the story. We
Yes,
have a last.
we have
so-
the final one, out of
Thank you.
bounds.
Sorry, Malaika.
No, it's okay. We have the final one, out of bounds. So remember those kind of new points that I was telling you about in the beginning of the theme? That's them. They're kind of a mix between spleen and vital energy. It's all about expressing, demanding, and claiming the new word that this young generation is craving so badly. Basically, that was the complete inspiration behind that. And so in this silhouette, we have something that is highly unconventional and has a very brute sense, very rebellious sense. You can definitely see it in the shapes. So we're mixing a biker vibe, with very structured formalism, punk, sportswear, and genderless accessories. So what is really cool is that it's basically all of Gen Z coming into one and just blending completely together. The volumes and cuts can be either oversized or skinny, or you can just mix it up all together. You have the faux black color palette that is softened with off-white or grayish beige, and the intense burgundy, to give it like kind of a minimized darkness vibe. For the accessories, we go full dark but very sophisticated still. The fabrics used are leather, we've got vinyl, we've got metallic details as well, still staying very biker, very punk. And you basically want your accessories to scream your state of mind and, you know, how conventional you are, and your claims as well. And finally, for the patterns, we have scratches and kind of like bling motifs that are displaying a strong yet slightly romantic feel. Like you're rebellious, but you've still got a soul and a heart. We've also kind of played with animal prints because it is kind of part of this glam rock kind of feel that we wanted to go for. So you can see them playing in the shades, coming out a bit of the darker colors that we've used in the palette. And now we'll let you go.
And so now this is the end. Sorry for this bug.
Yeah.
We are open for any questions, of course. We are just there, close to the catwalk. If you want to discuss
And thank
with
you
us,
so
we
much
are,
for
we
your
are
attention.
open.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.